Imagine you've spent months chasing flights with your favorite airline, trying to earn that elusive airline status, only to get to the elite lounge and find that it is absolutely rammed. You imagined a world of priority boarding, extra baggage, and upgrades galore. But is frequent flyer status really worth the hype, or are you just playing an expensive game centered around image? Today we're digging into the real value of airline elite status, who does it well, how people are getting the luxury without paying for it, and what's changing to make people question their loyalty to a number of different airlines. To start with, what's so special about airline status? Well, it promises a taste of the high life. Hit a certain tier and you'll unlock perks that can make travel more comfortable and more convenient. Priority check-in and boarding, lounge access to relax with free snacks and drinks away from the crowded terminal. Elites often get extra baggage allowances, seat selection privileges, and even the holy grail, free upgrades to business and first class when available. In theory, airline status turns air travel from a hassle into a VIP experience. And let's be honest, it's also an ego thing. When Group 1 gets called up for boarding and you walk straight up with your priority tag on your bag, past all the furious people who have been waiting at the gate basically since the airport opened, it feels good. Airlines bank on this aspirational value. They want you to feel special and work hard, i.e. spend hard, to achieve such status. Programs like the British Airways Club, Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, and others dangle labels like bronze, silver, gold, or platinum in some systems to make you feel part of an exclusive club. Feelings aside, what do you actually get? Mid-tier status like British Airways Silver or Virgin Atlantic Gold is often the sweet spot because that's the level that typically unlocks airport lounges. The thing that everyone goes crazy for. It's not just for those airlines, it's for airlines across the network of those airlines. But do you need to spend £7,500 per year on flights to get airport lounge access? Top tier status might add a few extra perks, maybe better upgrade priority, a higher bonus on points earnings, or access to first class lounges, but often the core benefits don't increase dramatically beyond the middle tier. Whether or not airline status is worth it can depend massively on where you're based and who you typically fly with. The value of elite perks isn't uniform around the world, so let's compare a few regions and programs to put this into context. Starting of course with the UK. Now, the UK, of course, has two big players, British Airways and Virgin Atlantic. British Airways Silver gets you lounge access, priority security, free seat selection and baggage on BA, which is great if you're a regular at Heathrow where BA has multiple lounges, and of course access to benefits with all their partner airlines and at the hubs of those carriers. International alliance is actually one of the strongest benefits of airline status. Virgin Atlantic Flying Club Gold, which is the equivalent, similarly grants lounge access to its lounges and the lounge and benefits of its Sky Team partners. With airline status in Europe though, if you're in it for the upgrades, short-haul flights often have minimal service difference between economy and business. And to be honest, there are rarely free upgrades for elites on European flights. In the US, maybe surprisingly, maybe not, status culture is huge. There are three major airlines, American, Delta, and United, and they historically offer unlimited complimentary upgrades to elites on domestic flights. This means if you're a high tier elite, you stand a chance of getting bumped up to first class on a domestic flight for no extra charge. Given that the longest domestic flight in the US is 11.5 hours, I think this is pretty significant. That said, US airlines have a ton of elites and not everybody gets those upgrades. Still, perks like free check bags, priority boarding, and not having to pay fees to make changes are still very valuable if you fly regularly. In some regions, airlines provide an exceptional service to all of their elite tier members. I think you know where this is going. Qatar Airways, based in Doha, offers dedicated elite lounges, even a tier as low as their silver status, which is equivalent to BA bronze. It comes with lounge access at the Doha hub, which is unusually generous. Their gold and platinum members get Q credits, which are vouchers that can be used for upgrades, and access to premium facilities, making Qatar's program quite rewarding for those who fly through Doha. Likewise, other big players like Emirates, Singapore Airlines, or Cathay Pacific pamper top elites with chauffeur services or exclusive lounges. If you live in a city with one premium dominant airline, say for example Dubai for Emirates or Singapore for Singapore Airlines, being in that airline's good graces can significantly enhance every trip. On the other hand, if you're in a region where low-cost airlines dominate, like Southeast Asia for AirAsia or Europe for EasyJet and Ryanair, it puts a bit of a spanner in the works. More on that later. For now, 91% of people who watch this channel are not subscribed. How are you going to let Ryanair have more YouTube subscribers than me? Please hit the button. Thanks. Now back to that spanner in the works. A lot of people have realized that you can often replicate a lot of elite perks without having elite status. How? By leveraging low-cost airlines and third-party programs. In 2023 and 2024, a lot of travelers started asking why chase status for perks I could just pay for directly. Consider this scenario: you're flying from London to Paris. You could stick with British Airways, hoping to earn status next year, or you could fly with a low-cost airline like EasyJet, pay a bit extra for priority boarding and seat selection, maybe £20, and buy a one-time lounge pass for £25–30 to relax before the flight. You won't get a free sandwich on board, but neither will you with BA because they scrapped that on short-haul flights a few years back. In essence, by spending maybe £50, you just bought yourself the key perks of status for that trip: priority boarding and a lounge, without being an elite member. In simple terms, many airline perks are now available a la carte and much cheaper to purchase individually than through airline spend. Especially with the rise in programs like Priority Pass, Lounge Key, or Dragon Pass, these memberships, often included with premium credit cards or bank accounts, offer access to thousands of airport lounges around the world regardless of what cabin you're flying in or what airline you're flying with. You of course can't access some airline specific lounges, but sometimes they're not even worth it. I said sometimes, please don't come for me in the comments. Do these paid options measure up? Well, it depends. Some airline specific lounges are top notch. They are far superior in food, amenities, and they're usually reserved for elites and premium cabin flyers. A Priority Pass lounge can be hit or miss. Some are great, some are basic. There's also the issue of crowding. With so many people carrying free lounge memberships from credit cards, airports have seen overcrowded lounges where even status holders sometimes struggle to find a seat. Still, if you only travel occasionally, a bit of a crowded lounge might beat waiting by the gate, and paying for access to a lounge on the day is still cheaper than loyalty altogether. Another alternative is airline branded credit cards, which can grant perks that are usually reserved for elites. In the US, for example, a co-branded airline credit card often gives priority boarding and a free check bag, effectively giving casual travelers two core benefits for an annual fee, and often saving them money. And let's not forget low-cost carriers' own schemes. Some budget airlines have subscription programs, for instance EasyJet Plus, which gives priority boarding and free seat selection on every EasyJet flight, essentially elite perks without needing any flight history. Others, like Ryanair, offer fast-track security or priority as add-ons per flight. While these won't get you a fancy lounge or free upgrades, they cover a lot of the practical benefits for the frequent traveler. But why are we even having this conversation? Well, mainly because a lot of airlines have been watering down their products like a cheap cocktail bar in Thailand. Yes, I came up with that one myself. If you watched my recent video, you'll know how strong the backlash was when British Airways made it substantially harder to reach airline status, and how people switched their loyalty in response. BA isn't alone though. Delta Airlines in the US made headlines in late 2023 for similarly drastic changes. It shifted its miles program to focus on basically qualifying dollars, effectively eliminating old metrics like the miles flown. Then Delta massively hiked the spending thresholds for each tier. Sound familiar? They also removed certain credit card shortcuts that people used to gain status. One traveler who previously got silver by putting $25,000 of spend on a Delta Amex card would now have to spend an astonishing $120,000 to get the same status. The backlash was so severe that Delta's CEO admitted they went too far and promised to dial back some of the changes. Still, the trend is undeniable. Airlines are thinning out their elite ranks. In Delta's case, they openly said there were too many elites after the pandemic era extensions, and they wanted to weed some out by raising the requirements. Even having status though doesn't guarantee the premium life it once did. With so many elite members in these programs, the competition for free upgrades or a seat in the lounge is fierce. So is airline status worth it for you? Well, the long and short of it is it depends on two key things: where you live and how often you fly. Me, I like choice, so I won't be locked into spending 2 to 3 times more on BA just to chase status. But what do you think? Let me know which airlines you have status with and whether you're content or looking to jump ship. Or if you just don't care about status altogether and you're making your way with all the other things we discussed in this video. As always, I'm Jordan. Thank you so much for watching to the end. This is Miles Ahead. See you on the next one. Safe.